The following video is a description of the New Haven School's Salmon Egg Incubation Project. It has involved a cooperative effort of New Haven School, the 4-H Natural Resource Youth and Development Program, the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The classes involved science, a study of commercial fishing issues, and cultural subsistence activities. We are raising coho or silver salmon, but the study has included all species of salmon.
We started our class with a search of coho salmon within the New Haven River watershed. Various students walked miles up and down tributaries of the river. Coho runs in our area are rare, and we knew that finding a pair of spawning silver salmon would be difficult. Throughout October and November, we searched Lovers Creek, Bear Creek, Alexi Creek, and the feeder streams running into Alexi Lake. We had no luck. We did, however, set minnow traps to see if we could catch and identify juvenile salmon and trout.
What's in it?
Salmon fry.
Put him back in. Put him in the water while chest.
Believe it or not, we found a backwater full of coho fry. Apparently, this is typical of silvers, in that during their stay in fresh water, they seek out calm bays with slack waters during the fall and winter.
When we were identifying the fry, we had an option of 3 different types of juvenile salmonoids to choose from, which were coho, sockeye, and rainbows. Rainbows have spots on their dorsal fin, unlike the other 2 salmons. This made it easier to eliminate rainbows from the list. Sockeye and coho salmon are a little bit trickier to tell apart from each other if you don't know the identification features. Sockeye fry have par marks, roundish, long, and oval. Dark bands are vertical on the sides of the fry that mainly consist above the lateral line, and coho fry have par marks that go through the center of the lateral line. The par marks on coho are also narrower than the spaces between them. Another identification feature was on the anal fin. On coho fry, the first ray of the anal fin is both long and wide, unlike the anal fin of the sockeye fry, which is not.
Before we received our salmon eggs by mail from Anchorage, we did some water quality studies. One of the tests we did of our streams was on pH. pH is a measure of how acidic or alkaline a substance is. It is measured on a scale of 0 to 14. The best pH range for fish eggs is between 6 and 7.2. We tested streams, the river, and tap water from the school. The New Haven River is probably the best choice for the water in the tank. Not only because it is almost right in the middle of the range, but it is also the nearest water source. The rain and tap water would probably be the last options. The rainwater is very acidic and the tap water is far too basic. A second test we did was measuring dissolved oxygen of the New Haven River water. Dissolved oxygen is needed to keep lakes and rivers healthy. The more dissolved oxygen in the water, the healthier the water is considered. Dissolved oxygen can get in the water from waves, rapids, or waterfalls. Aquatic plants also provide a high source of dissolved oxygen. Dissolved oxygen levels need to be at least 10 milligrams per liter. We tested both New Haven River water at 3 degrees Celsius and our tank water from the New Haven River at 8 degrees Celsius. The river water tested at 15 milligrams per liter and our incubator tested at 14 milligrams per liter. So we are in good shape for oxygen content.
After studying about the external anatomy of a fish, we learned many interesting facts, including why a fish is slimy. Fish are slimy for many reasons. They can slip away from bears or other predators. They can slide past rocks or other objects in the water. It is also a protective covering from parasites and diseases. Fins are used for steering and swimming. All fish have a caudal fin. This fin is used to push the fish forward. The anal fin keeps the fish balanced. The pelvic and pectoral fins are used to turn, stop, and also for balancing. The dorsal fin keeps the fish from tipping over. The adipose fin doesn't really have a use.
Another commonly known characteristic of a fish are the scales. Scales are protective armor plates. Fish have the same amount of scales when they are adults as when they were fry. Scales are quite useful. They help us determine the age and history of a fish. It is difficult to determine age. We tried but failed to find the age of a rainbow. We do know that coho spend 1 year in freshwater and 2 years in the ocean. The lateral line on a fish is used for a few different reasons. It is located in the middle of the fish's body on both sides. The lateral line has a bunch of holes running along it to sense movement from animals in the water. Unlike humans, fish use their nostrils for only smelling, not breathing. They need their sense of smell in order to get back to the original creek for spawning.
In our fisheries class, we did dissections of fish. The main parts of the fish that we looked at were the scales, gills, eyeball, and the swim bladder. Fish eyeballs have a protective lens over it so they don't need to blink. The water is always cleaning the eye lenses. Fish eyes are not connected, so one could be looking forward and one could be looking backwards at the same time. Inside the eye there is a hard round ball, which is the lens. Fish can see at a 10-degree angle when looking out of the water because of the way the water reflects. The gills, when healthy, are bright red because they are filled with blood. Gills are just like our lungs. They filter out the oxygen from the water and transfer it to the body. Gills have a protective hard cover over them which opens and closes when the fish breathes. The fish breathes by doing a gulping action that allows water to pass through the rakers and gills and out the flap. Gills have 2 cells between the oxygen and blood, so transfer of the oxygen is easy. A fish's swim bladder is an air cavity inside the belly which allows the fish to stay at a certain depth or rise and fall in the water. The swim bladder also helps keep the fish stable.
The tank needed to be set up weeks ahead of time so that the refrigeration unit and the filtering system could be tested. Gravel was placed over a plastic plate at the bottom of the tank. We also placed larger rocks in the tank so the alevins could hide after they hatch. They are light sensitive. Water is circulated down through the gravel and up through a tube to the filter, so the moving water is always running over the eggs, and the bubbler adds the oxygen needed.
We received the eggs from Fort Richardson Air Force Base on November 18, 2002. They were silvers collected from the Campbell Creek area, which is located in the Anchorage area. When we received the eggs, they were already in the ad stage of hatching, which is 340 ATUs. Accumulated thermal units, or ATUs, are the measurement of the total sum of the water temperature over a given period of time. For example, if the water temperature of the first day of incubation was 10 degrees Celsius, the second was 11 degrees, and the third was 12, the ATUs at the end of the third day would be a total of 33 degrees Celsius. The measurement of ATUs is a key factor of determining the stage of egg development and predicting the hatching date. The temperature and ATUs play a very important role because the dissolved oxygen levels and the amount of water flow are minimal in an artificial environment.
Coho salmon or silver salmon lay about 2,500 eggs. Around 375 of those live to hatch. About 30 of those make it through the first year. After that, only about 4 eggs make it to the adult stage. Finally, only 2 make it back to spawn from the original 2,500.
Once the eggs are fertilized, they begin to develop. The first noticeable stage they reach is the eyed egg stage. How fast they grow depends on the water temperature they live in. Cohos reach the eyed stage at 220 ATUs. They reach the alevin stage at 450 ATUs. The newly developed alevin hide from any sign of brightness. At 750 ATUs, the alevin become fry, which is when they lose their egg sac. The tiny fish begin swimming to the surface to get gulps of air to fill their swim bladder and also begin feeding. After spending a year in fresh water, the fry will go to the mouth of a river and then go to the ocean. Our silvers go to the estuary of the Kwidzak River near Levelock.
Out of all commercial fishing areas in Alaska, Bristol Bay harvested the greatest poundage of sockeye salmon in 2002. The bay had about 50 million more pounds of sockeye than the next highest fishing area. Bristol Bay had 64,809,000 pounds this year, and the second highest was Prince William Sound, which only had 14,703,000 pounds of fish.
Even though we catch the greatest amount of fish, the bay received a price that didn't compare well with the other areas. Prince William Sound price per pound was only $1.01. The bay's price was only 45 cents per pound. If Bristol Bay had a higher price per pound, fishermen would be making a lot more money. The reason the Sound has such a high price is because they have a reputation of taking good care of their fish. In addition, they have the first major sockeye run of the season.
Bristol Bay made only twice as much as Prince William Sound. Even though the bay caught 4 times as many fish, the bay made a total of $29,164,000 and Prince William Sound made $14,850,000.
Oh, look at that wave in there. Nice scoop.
Fishermen are saying that the processors during this time period conspired together to lower the prices in Bristol Bay. Here, when we used to get $2.35 per pound, where last year we were paid 40 cents a pound, but there's not that many players. You have Marabini, Nippon Suisan, and the price fixing is that these companies, these people right here, along with these people right here, talk with each other to lower the prices.
Full picture.
Can we zoom in?
No, just leave it for a minute and then try a different shot. Zoom out a little bit. Yeah. You can have the chili peppers. That's all right, don't worry about that. Cool. They're eating already. And the bugs are eating me. Schooling too, that's neat.